Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my empty studio today. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. It's episode 24 of Alex Likes to Knit. A Tolsta tea and I already had way too much coffee today, so we've got a sparkling water, and I did wear this, or I brought it to cafe this morning with some coffee, and I felt really cool. Tiny crochet. Okay, for real, let's get started. First of all, the reason why the studio, my shelf and everything is empty. So today is Tuesday, June 25th, and this week I am totally reorganizing my studio. It's gotten just really out of control, and this week was the perfect opportunity to just take everything out and organize it whenever I put it back in, because Caroline is out of town this whole week, so I don't feel bad about having stuff in our living space. So right now I have a bunch of stuff out there, and I've been sorting it, and I've started putting things back in. I have reorganized the closet. I'm going to do the closet and my desk here first before I start moving back in my furniture, refilling back up my shelf and everything like that. So that's why this is empty. Also, this is my new painting. It's a pride flag, obviously, and I just made it this week, so I figured I should put it up and show it off since everything was so empty. Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit more about art and painting and everything at the end. In case you're new here, I am an artist and a knitting enthusiast in San Antonio, Texas. So it is June, so it's very, very hot here, 95 to 100 degrees pretty regularly at this point. I have made one summer knit. That's actually my finished object today, but I think it's going to be more of a fall. Like actual top that I will be wearing, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I'm not wearing any knitting today, just a t-shirt, but I'm thinking I might wear, let me talk about my finished object, and then maybe I'll wear it next week. So my finished object is a Tolsta tee. And you know, I do like how it came out. Main thing here, why I'm not wearing it, I haven't blocked it yet, and I'm not in love with how it looks, but I'm sure that it'll be better after I block it. I just finished it last night, so I figured I would show it finished. I'll take some photos, take some measurements and everything, and then block it, and then I'll wear it on the next episode. Assuming that it looks okay. Yeah, so details about this project. It's the Tolsta tee by Clow. It is a raglan t-shirt, super basic pattern that's really easy to modify. I did a size 3, but I started with the neck of the size 2 just to like close it in a bit more. And I used smaller needle sizes than what is recommended in the pattern just because I have a really loose gauge, and I believe now I'm pretty close to where I'm supposed to be at for gauge. Yeah, I used a size 6 needle for the body and size 5 for all of the ribbing, and I believe the recommended needle sizes are 7 and 8. Let's look at my gauge really quick while we're here. 17 per 4 inches. Let's see what the Tolsta tee gauge is supposed to be. Let me get my phone. Okay, the recommended, or the gauge for the pattern is 17 stitches per 4 inches. So I have 8.5 for 2 inches, so I am on gauge for this project, which, that's good. That's not like me. Yeah, so I knit size 3, but I started with the size 2, sized down my needles to get gauge. The yarn that I used, 2 different yarns. Let's see if I have tags. I might. Yeah. Okay, I do have tags. So I used two yarns held together for this project. You can tell it has a bit of a marl. I can pull a second of a I'll pull a second of footage from another episode where I'm holding up the yarns separately. Kobu. So I bought 2 skeins of this and was holding these together to, in hopes, have like 2 skeins of DK. I am working with Kobu from Lion Brand, which is a commercial yarn that I got at Joann's. So I used three balls of this. I ended up having to order a third. And then a hand-dyed yarn that is a fingering weight from a Baton Rouge hand dyer called Fleur de Stitched is the dyer. And this base is called Lanyap. It is a 100% cotton fingering weight yarn. I bought this hand-dyed yarn at DFW Fiber Fest and wanted to make a Tolsta tee. I got 2 skeins. And I could have helical knit them and done the fingering weight version of the Tolsta, and I think I would have had enough yardage. But I held them together and tried to do the DK weight version, and I did not have enough yardage. Like, I did, but it was too cropped. The sleeves were too short, and it just really wasn't my style. I thought maybe I would wear it sometimes to, like, if I was going to the beach or something, but not often enough. So I decided to get another yarn to hold with it and restart the DK weight version of the pattern. So I got Kobu, which is heavier than a fingering weight. It's like more of a DK weight itself. So holding these together, it was thicker than kind of what's recommended in the pattern. But because this is such a loose gauge pattern, you could do a DK or like a worsted weight to get gauge. So I held these together. The Kobu is 51% cotton and 49% rayon from bamboo. So cotton, 100% cotton, half rayon. So good for summer, right? And I thought this would work as a summer knit, and I think it could. The thing is though now is that it's pretty heavy. It just has a weight to it that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy wearing whenever it's this hot outside. And I think that this color is definitely going to be suited to fall. So I think that as it cools down a little, whenever it's not 90, 100, but like 70 degrees outside, I think this will be really nice to wear. So I'm going to block it, I'm going to try it on, and I'll put some footage in here of me wearing it unblocked, and blocked too if I get it blocked before I edit and upload this video, then I'll throw that in too. But yeah, I'm thinking September, October, or October, November more likely, I will be wearing this. And I do think it's nice. My main issue with it now is the neckline still has some openness to it that I'm not loving. And the Tolsta tee does have, hi Otis. The Tolsta tee does have a little bit of a boat neck to it, and there have been a lot of mods where people tighten it up by doing what I did. I started with a smaller size. Otis? Otis needed to go check something out. Oh boy. I started with the neckline for the smaller size, and then I did increases underneath the neckline, and I made the neckline a bit thicker. Just a lot of little things to try to close it up a bit, but it still felt a bit open. So one more thing I did, because I tried this on yesterday and I was like, oh no, I don't like it. But I was able to close it up a bit with, I just added a piece of yarn to my back seam right here to keep this from stretching out. So on the back, so this is the back here, where my back raglan seams are, I kind of followed that up to see like spots in the ribbing here. I tied a piece of scrap yarn from this project, tied one side here, just threaded it through these stitches to the other side and tied it here. So this has no stretch now because I put a piece of cotton yarn right there. So the front all still has stretch to it. So it's still very easy to get over my head and everything. But I think that it would keep it a little bit from flaring out. And it definitely does help some. So I might, after I block it, I'll see like if the neckline opens more, I'll probably need to do something else. I'll probably put elastic through the whole neckline or like just through the front because this now has no stretch. So I can't do that to the whole neckline. So maybe some elastic thread or something, which I don't have any. I would need to source that. But yeah, we'll see how that looks. But I'll definitely show you what this is looking like unblocked. And I'm glad I'm done with it because I have been working on this project for a long time and it was time. It was time to be done with it. Even if it's not perfect, even if I don't end up wearing it that much, it was time. So that is my finished object. It's a Tolsta tee. And you know, I'm gonna talk about it more next episode. We cannot get away from that. So it's about noon here. I haven't had lunch yet. I had a late breakfast, but I am loving how everyone has these lovely beverages on their knitting podcast. And I already had way too much coffee today. So we've got a sparkling water, but I did get my can cozy out. So it's kind of like I'm wearing knitting because I'm using my knitting for my sparkling water here. So cheers. I hope that you are hydrating or that you have coffee or tea and that you're relaxing. So I do have a little bonus finished object that I want to show next. I did not think I would finish this week, but I had a surge of motivation to work on this project on Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Saturday, but look what I made. Yay, it's a tote bag! So I showed this quilt block last episode. This is an English paper pieced quilt block. And I talked about wanting to apply it to a tote bag. So I made a quilted tote bag. I hand stitched it onto this piece of like blue polka dot fabric. I ironed under my edges and then like whip stitched it onto this. And then I had like this is my outer fabric. I used quilt batting, and then I only quilted it like just around the edge of my quilt block. And then I made a lined tote bag, and I just used the same outer fabric for my straps. And yeah, these I like folded them over in and then like that. So it's like 4 layers of fabric here. Yeah, if you have any more questions about how I did that, leave me questions in the comments if you want, but it's just a tote bag. So if you know how to sew, you probably know how to make a tote bag. And I'm not a pro or anything. The English paper piecing is the impressive part here. And the tote bag is just, now I can actually use it and show it off. And I did wear this, or I brought it to a cafe this morning to get some coffee. And I felt really cool. Okay, so I had to show that off. I got really excited about sewing this week. Whenever I finished this, I decided I had to make a bucket hat. I found a free pattern, printed it out, cut out all my pieces. I was just about done with this bucket hat and I realized that it's way too small. So that was discouraging. I might get back into some bucket hat making in the future, like in the next few weeks, but I think I might just let that go. Stop sewing a little bit because now I'm cleaning out the studio. I had a huge mess from doing that tote bag and then doing this bucket hat. my fabric stuff was everywhere, my sewing stuff was everywhere, and I think that's part of what prompted me to completely empty out the studio and work on organizing it again. So I think I should not do that for a little bit. So those are the finished objects. Let's talk works in progress. And the works in progress are the same as last week, but I did make some good progress on them. So let's talk about them. First, let's discuss my Advent scrappy socks. So remember, I had started one. I had my little cuff done, tiny bit, like my little baby leg, and I had started the heel. But what is fun is I finished the first sock. So this is the first sock. It's so wild. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I had done my cuff here, this little stripe, and then this flower. This is where I was on the heel. And I finished the little sock. I'll talk about how I do my shorty socks in case, you know, you forgot or you weren't here whenever I used to make these all the time. Cast on 56 stitches, and then I have fold over elastic. I cut a piece of elastic 8.5 inches long and sewed it into a loop. So I knit 12 rows of stockinette, so it's like this long, and then I tuck that elastic. I like fold it over like a folded hem, but like trap the elastic in there. So this has it's plenty enough stretch to get over my foot, but it really stays up well, and that fits me really well. I would definitely, if you try it for yourself, just play with like the amount of elastic that still gives you enough stretch, and like right whenever you finish getting that elastic in there and you have it sewed down, just make sure that you can pop it onto your foot, because then I just do a foot formula that I know fits me, and then the sock fits really well. Yeah, so then I just did my vanilla sock pattern basically for the rest. I do 3 rounds of stockinette for a little baby leg, and then heel flap and gusset, 18 slip stitch repeats, and then finish the foot to a length that works for me. So I just did stripes that were however thick I felt like making them. I was just pulling colors that I felt like had enough contrast where it would look stripy and not like faded. I still have quite a bit of this yarn left. So I finished that one and started my second sock here. I've run out of a few of the colors, but I definitely am still gonna have more left over after. So yeah, just quite a few. And these are all leftovers from the Ruby and Roses 2023 Advent. And my main color here that I used for the cuff, the heel, and the toe, and I'm gonna do the same for my other sock, is this color, which is called Christmas Market. And this was the main skein at the end of the 2023 Advent. So I thought that'd be perfect to go with it. I made a full pair of socks out of this. This is what's left over. Yeah, so just some fun Christmas Advent shorty socks, and I'll definitely get these finished up this week. They're going really fast. This is fun knitting news. I made a knitting friend. I joined a book club, and I've been meeting people through this book club, and I made a friend who is a knitter, and she invited me to go knit with her and other knitting and crochet friends. So I met up with them at a brewery, and I worked on these socks and chatted with them for like 2 hours. It was so nice and so fun to be able to talk to people about knitting in real life. And that was when I did like big chunk of these. I've been working on them some at home too, but yeah, super fun. I am really happy with how these are turning out. I am planning to keep them for myself. I need more shorty socks now that it is summer. I have a few, but they just get so gross from me wearing them. I wash them like almost every time I wear them. If I wear them out, they get so sweaty that I think even the magical properties of merino like cannot save me in this heat. So we need some more shorty socks in the collection. So these are almost done. I'm wanting to get more into kind of pumping out the socks again now that I finished the Tolsta tee, because I spent several hours finishing that up this week. I'll have a little bit more time freed up for sock knitting, and it's summer sock camp with Crazy Sock Lady, and I want to do a bunch of socks. I want to be like Crazy Sock Lady, be popping out my socks every week. But yeah, this other stuff is it's been getting in the way, but not anymore. It's sock time. I've done 3 pairs for summer sock camp. I posted 2 on Instagram. I haven't put any in the Ravelry threads, so I think I should go hopefully today. Maybe I'll remind myself when I'm editing that I should go take a second and submit the 3 that I finished on the Ravelry finished objects thread. But yeah, these will be done soon and will be my 4th pair for summer sock camp. Can you hear Otis just like pacing around? Oh, he's hungry. Poor guy. He needed killing him water. He's good now. Maybe you can hear him drinking water. Cute. Okay. My next sock work in progress is the Surf Wax socks. Yay, this one's looking cool. I talked about these last week. I finished the first pair. Where is not the first pair, the first sock. I don't know where it is, but I held it up last week, so I'll throw in a little flashback. And yeah, I've started the second sock like I said I would. I've been really sticking to my plans this week, which is great. And yeah, it's slow going. Let me put my phone on silent. This pattern is slow going, but I'm still enjoying it. I think I did 8 repeats in the leg on the first sock, and I've done 4 here. So for the first sock, once I finished the leg, the foot went faster because you're only doing the knit purl slip stitch texture on the top. So that wasn't as bad. So I will keep working on this week. I actually might finish this before next episode, because I am not going to record next week. So it'll be 2 weeks. So I might be able to get this one finished before next episode in 2 weeks. I think that's a totally reasonable goal. But yeah, Surf Wax socks by Summerlee. The yarn that I'm using here, the main color is Stroll Tonal in, I don't know what the color is called, but it is lime green. It's a Knit Picks colorway, and then my little pop of color at the top here is from my Ruby and Roses Advent. Yeah, so not too much to say about those. I've already talked about them, and I'll talk about them some more whenever I get them finished. Hello, Otis. So yeah, easy one. Another work in progress that I'm actually pretty impressed with my progress on is my Musselburgh hat. So here it is. Isn't that nice? I love this yarn. This is where I was. Hey, bud. Last week I was down here at the pretzel, and I wanted to do a few inches because I wanted to make sure that my gauge was going to work for this pattern. So, update in case you missed it. I am knitting the Musselburgh Hat by Ysolda Teague. You start at a little point on the bottom here, knit increases. You check your gauge here in the increases. And I have had trouble with that before, so instead of checking my gauge and the increases, I knit a tiny swatch. So I knit a tiny swatch to get my gauge. There it is, super tiny. And gauge, tiny swatch said 6 stitches per inch. And in this pattern, you can work at several different gauges, and then it'll tell you how many stitches to increase to based on your gauge and what size you want to knit. So I was like, okay, I'm going to follow it based on my 6 stitches per inch gauge, but I was worried that it wouldn't be quite right because my gauge in my increases was way tighter than that. It was like 8.5, 9 or something. So I put a lifeline, just put my yarn right here at the end of my increases as a lifeline, just in case it did end up being too small and I needed to go back to that point and add more increases. Just so I wouldn't have to start over the entire hat, because I don't like doing the beginning of the Musselburgh. It's not that fun. It's not terrible, but like I'm not gonna redo it. That would be bad. So I put my lifeline in here. And I just this morning transferred this from my needles onto some scrap yarn so that I can show you the sizing on this thing. So I'm gonna put this on my head. It's gonna look really silly. So, it's small. It's definitely small, but I think that this is going to work for my sister actually. So it's not long enough too, right? Like it will go over the top, like over my forehead more whenever it is longer. But just looking at how much this will stretch. Okay, so my head is 22 inches. I believe my head is 22 inches around. My sister has a small head, so I'm assuming that her head is 21 inches around. That is my guess. And my quilting ruler here, I'm kind of looking at, will this stretch comfortably to 21 to 22 inches. And looking right here, my zero's on this side, so I want to see if it'll stretch to my 11, which is not the end of this. This is a 12.5 inch ruler. And holding this, go a little bit under where I have my scrap yarn. It's, you know, it does. It's gonna stretch out a lot to get there, but like thinking, okay, if my sister's head is 21 inches and it needs to get to 10.5, that's right here. So seeing where kind of in the middle there, how much that's stretched, that's fine. That's what I'm thinking. So, and then I could also, sorry, my marker's like click-clacking on my ruler. But I think that actually will be a good size for my sister. So my plan is to put this back on my needle and keep knitting and just make it as long as I can. I'll keep knitting until I have about 10 grams of yarn left, and I'll do the decreases. And I will keep you updated because I'm like 90% sure, like, because I don't want to make it too big. The last Musselburgh I made was too big. I don't know. Anyway, so some more details about this project. This lovely, lovely yarn. Super nice. The idea of doing tan with like fiery, like orange, brown, and yellow speckles is like so smart. It's such a cool combination. So I really, really like this yarn. And I think that it's like not too crazy to where this can like pass as a neutral hat, which I think will be great for my sister. That it's interesting, it's pretty up close, but it's also really easy to wear and style because it's just like a tan hat. This yarn is Madeline Tosh, The colorway is called Brace for Impact, and it is their twist sock. So I believe it's 75/25 superwash merino nylon fingering weight. And yeah, I'm using a size 1.5 needle for this hat. And I will keep you updated on how long I'm able to make this before I start running out of yarn. I need to close it again. My goal is to knit stockinette until I have 10 grams left, close it up, and hopefully I'll have enough that she can have a little bit of space at the top and fold it up over her ears. Yeah, so I think I'll remove the lifeline and just keep on going. I'll go ahead and move my marker here so I don't forget, so we can see in 2 weeks how much progress I have on this. I'm gonna put it 1 row below where I'm at because I'm gonna need to get my needle back in here. Yay! Musselburgh. That's about it. I have one more thing that I want to talk about really quick. I started a little bonus project. What is it, Ben? What is? I want to talk about another Musselburgh really quick. We'll include it in my Musselburgh talk from that probably. So this is a Musselburgh that I made last year. I got this nice 100% alpaca yarn secondhand, and I made this. I was intending to give this to my sister who I'm making that Musselburgh for, but it's too small. So flip it in like this. It's just not long enough. I don't know why I thought this was long enough. This is not long enough. Yeah. So, I mean, it's fine. It goes over my ears, but like, I don't know. It's not terrible, but I would much rather it fold up. And I'm thinking about possibly, so knowing that this one like fits fine, also comparing the size. I mean, they're the same size, and this one fits. It just needs to be longer, like 3 or 4 inches longer so that I can fold up the brim. So that's really good to know. What I'm thinking I might do for this one is cut it, pick up stitches, pull out the end, and then bind off, and then fold it up from there. So it'll have this little stockinette cap, and then have like 3 layers of reverse stockinette, because you'll fold it up and you'll see the purl side for the brim. I think that will save this hat. It won't be too difficult to do. This is alpaca, it's a little fuzzy. It'll be a little bit hard to pick up stitches, but I think I can manage. And then I'll bind off and I'll see how that looks, because then I can give both of these to my sister. That'd be fun. Or I mean, I could give this one to someone else, or I could keep it for myself even. But she lives in a cold place. I think she would appreciate that come, fall, winter. So we're going to save this, and we are going to make this better. That's the whole story. I will, I'll give an update next time on if this is saved. Okay, one last thing that I started. Let me go grab it. Okay, I went looking for this, and it was on the floor in here. Okay, so what this is, I finished my Tolsta tee, right? Tolsta tee. And I had quite a bit of yarn left that is not going to work in my scrappy projects. I have more than this. I have several little balls because it was a garment. I unraveled it, and I had been holding it double, so I ended up with a bunch of small balls of this. This is the hand-dyed 100% cotton from Fleur de Stitched. And I thought I might as well at least try to make this into a little project because I do really like the yarn. And I was like, I'll try it out. If it doesn't work out, I'll donate it. So I am working on a dishcloth, if you will. I'm not the best at crocheting, but I have confirmed that this is indeed single crochet. Little tiny crochet. So this is going to be a dishcloth basically, but I'm going to use this in the bathroom as like a face towel. I use my I use my little but small little soft towels whenever I like dry my face, whenever I wash my face. And I'm intending this to be used for that because it's very soft. It's 100% cotton. Yeah, that's the plan. So I think it's good. It's just single crochet. And I like the way it feels. Like, it feels good. I want to put it on my face. So yay. It's going to be a while before it's done. And if I just get tired of it and I don't want to do it, then I'll just rip it out and donate the yarn, and I won't be that sad about it because I already made a project with it. But I'm liking it so far, so I'm going to keep working on this. I haven't done much on my scrappy granny square blanket because I was doing this instead. This is like my only crochet hook. I have others, but this is the only nice one, and so I was like, I'll use this one because this is fingering weight yarn, and I've been using this with fingering weight yarn for my crochet granny square blanket. That's a size D hook, by the way. 3.25 millimeters. Yeah, so that's it. I don't know about crochet, but this is crochet, and I started it, and I just thought I'd throw it out there, let it see the world. And that is all of my projects. So let's see, let's do a little bit of a life and art update. I've been doing a lot more markets and events and everything with my art. This past week, on Saturday, June 23rd, I did a pride market at a brewery that I really like, and it went so well. It was really, really fun. I met people I haven't met before, like met artists. I sold quite a few like small originals. I sold prints and stickers. Like, it was just really good energy. I made a lot of sales. Everyone was super nice. I brought my whole painting setup, and I painted this pride flag on site there. And that was super fun because people were really interested in the process and excited about it. So just really good energy. And because I was there all day, I was there from noon to 8. I was outside. It was super hot. I'm glad that I had a big painting to work on instead of just, knitting or like working on my sketchbook or something. That worked out really well. So yeah, new painting, great market. And then I have more markets coming up. I'll put in the description my next few events that I have scheduled in case you're local to San Antonio and you want to come say hi. But yeah, the main thing, I'm doing a bunch of markets. I'm working on cleaning out my studio. So I'm gonna make a video of the studio clean out process. I haven't done a great job documenting so far, but I am working on it, so it might be like more of a mini vlog if there's not a ton of footage. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Next week I will not have a podcast episode. I think what I will do though is later this week, maybe on Friday, I would like to do a stash update, and maybe if I record that on Friday, I can post that next week instead of the podcast, because it's like mid-year, right? The end of June is halfway, and at the beginning of the year, in my first podcast of the year, I talked all about where my stash was at, my goals, and all that. And I think that would be nice to do a flat lay again, go through, what I have and where I'm at with that. And then it will kind of be like a separate episode, but then I can do that. I can do that in like 2 days. That'll make sense. Post it next week. And then 2 weeks from today, I will have a new episode with hopefully some finished socks. So that is it. That's the plan. Those are the projects. That's all that I have for you. So thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate everyone who's been tuning in for these. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.